Hello everybody, welcome back. It is Monday, August 22nd, 2024, and you're listening to episode 193 of Midnight Film Society. Your host, Damian Sherman. Joining me today is...
Derick McDuff.
On today's show, with 2 weeks left of the less than stellar 2024 summer movie season, we'll do one last check-in with where we stand in the global leaderboard of the summer movie wager. But before that, we'll get into a little bit of what we're watching, including It Ends With Us, Trap, DD, and much, much more, right into the show, midnightfilmsociety@gmail.com, Bicycle on Threads, Midnight Film Pod on Instagram, subscribe on Pocket Cast, YouTube Podcast, Spotify, rate and review it on Apple Podcast, tell a friend, family member, or stranger. What's up, man? How are we doing?
We are doing well. I might be doing better than you because is that why you put less than stellar 2024?
Yeah.
It's because your picks were all awful?
All my picks were awful. I think the general consensus, if you just ask around, general movie people, Sean Fennessy, my people, my stands, my podcasting cohorts, they would all agree it's not been great. Now, listen, they had.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean? The movies haven't been good, or the box office hasn't been good?
Box office has been pretty good. I think I just saw on Instagram, money-wise, yeah, it's been great, but I don't think we judge. I don't judge art on how much money it makes. Do you?
No, but you said it's we're talking about the box office, so okay. I don't know. I think there have been some pretty good movies this summer, so I don't know what you're talking about, but there have been some duds. There always are.
A lot of duds.
There's
I would say
good and bad.
There's like a handful of duds. I would say there's a gaggle. There's a flock of duds.
Not more than any other year, I don't think. Necessarily.
Yeah, I think they've been highlighted more just because of the strikes last year pushed a lot of stuff to 25. I think there's a prevailing phrase going around Hollywood right now is "survive to 25" is the phrase that a lot of people are using.
I've never heard that before, but sure. You and your best friend Sean Fennessy, I guess, are saying that.
My best buddy Sean Fennessy.
And Sean kicking it.
Yeah, what's his name on the Town podcast? I forget who hosts that, but yeah, they talk about that a lot. Of the strikes last year pushing a lot of things to next year has been the refrain going around. Again, they struck for very good reasons, and it was a thing that had to happen, and I'm glad it happened. I fully support them, but it definitely did put a damper on this year, I think.
I won't disagree that overall, there have been there have been some not great ones. It's been maybe a weaker year overall, but I don't think this summer season in particular is particularly bad or something. It's like, I don't know. There's still some good stuff. There's still some 5-star movies that have come out in the last couple months, I would say.
Yes, I would agree with that. You're right. Overall, again, we have to talk about it in terms of like everything, because we're going to talk about like indie movies this week. A lot of stuff I saw that were never designed to make money. They're never designed to be award winners. They're never designed to be that thing. And we'll talk about those. And I enjoyed those very much. But just overall,
so they're not designed to win awards or make money. What are these movies designed for? Because I think it's usually one or the other, or both.
I completely disagree. I think something like DD and Kneecap are going to fly under the radar, and they're going to be seen by people like me and you. And we're going to talk about them, and we're going to join them very much. But something like, I would say, Past Lives from last year. It came out, and it was definitely put out for Oscars, right? And it didn't win.
So that was designed to win awards, yes.
It was designed to win awards. I'm not sure about that. I think when you make a movie like that, I don't think you're making him to win awards. I really don't think so. It did, and it was good.
You don't think that the people A24 is interested in winning awards when they okay these movies? Because I think that is one of their main focuses, and their other focus is to make money. Like, I'm not talking about necessarily the filmmakers themselves, but
that's what I was talking about. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that they want to do those things because those things ensure that they get to keep making movies. George Miller might not get to make another Mad Max movie because Furiosa is not making money at the box office, and I don't know how I don't think it's gonna do great in award season either. So between those two things, I think that George Miller is probably a little bit bummed about that because he might not get to make Mad Max 5.
True. Yeah. There is always that phrase of it's just an honor to be nominated. And it's always like, you can just smell the bullshit on that phrase, right? And so, yeah, to that extent, I do agree with you. But I think if you're just going to ask the regular artist, regular person, regular filmmaker, regular writer, I think they just set out to make the best thing possible. And if it wins awards, then great. If it makes a lot of money, great. But I think at the heart of the thing, it's just to make the thing as best it can be.
Sure, but like movies, it's different than writing a book or something, right? Because movies are like an industry, right? You have to make a lot of money at these things, otherwise you don't have a job anymore. And so I think that I don't know, it's all good, well and good, like doing it for the love of the craft and stuff like that. But I just don't think that's a realistic outlook that people have.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so there's that. Okay, so moving on, pivoting awkwardly to Jenna Rollins, passed away this week at the ripe old age of 94. Again, talking about award winners, definitely was bestowed awards to her for a lot of her works. Worked very much closely with John Cassavetes in the 60s in A Child Is Waiting, in Faces. In one of the most famous ones was A Woman Under the Influence, so very much involved in the sort of New Hollywood era in the late 60s, early 70s.
Also worked with him together on A Marriage and multiple children, I think.
Yes, she did that. She did that as well. Correct. So yeah, one of the most lauded and most iconic actors of her generation passed away this week.
Yeah. Was it 94? So yeah, good for her.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Just pivoting back to, the conversation that started the podcast, we got Deadpool and Wolverine released a couple weeks ago. And this past week, we saw the release of It Ends With Us. So somebody made the point or made the stat that it was the first time in 34 years that a married couple have their films top the domestic box office. Speaking of married couples. The last time this happened was back in 1990, apparently, with Bruce Willis in Die Hard 2 and Demi Moore in Ghost. Again, talking about movies that, they still get made today, but definitely wouldn't be back-to-back with an action movie, right, today. That just wouldn't happen.
Well, it's interesting because, these are both like, the number one movie, Die Hard 2 and Deadpool and Wolverine, big franchise movie with a big movie star at the head, the sequel, and then you have the spouse of that person, Demi Moore and Blake Lively, in a kind of more a kind of sappy romantic film with It Ends With Us and Ghost. So it's weird, the parallels there. And yeah, that's somebody you mentioned who pointed out would be Dan Murrell, who is the one who pointed that out.
Gotcha. Yeah, credit to him. Have you heard about this? The discourse around It Ends With Us and Blake Lively's sort of press tour with this?
No, I have not. I see that book at work all the time, and I knew they were making a movie, so that's all I know about it.
Yeah. So it's a little kind of what do you call it? It's like a vanity thing. It's sort of like what's that word?
It's a passion project?
No, it's just like a thing that's just like it's not really important at all in the grand scheme of things, but it's just one of those celebrity talking point things. I'll tell you what it is, and you can tell me if this is like some bullshit or if it's bullshit or if it's actually a thing. So basically, I have an article pulled up from Forbes. They say It Ends With Us actor-director Justin Baldoni, reportedly hired a crisis public relations manager amid speculation that the film's cast, including Baldoni and actor-producer Blake Lively, have been feuding while promoting the adaptation of the popular Colleen Hoover novel, with reports indicating that there were disputes in post-production and social media users noting the lack of joint press events. So usually, the movie comes out and the director and the writer and the stars will, sort of do it together. That's usually how it goes. But for this one, Baldoni has been doing press himself, and everyone else has been doing press with each other. And the other thing that's really notable about this is that Blake Lively, you look at the interviews that she's been giving, and you were talking about the basic overall structure of the book, and you've talked about like a lot of people have just assuming it's like this rom-com or romance thing in the same vein of like The Notebook, where it's like a little saccharine, a little soft, a little
Well, I didn't say any of that, but keep going.
Sure, but it's. I think looking at this from having not read the book or somebody hasn't seen the movie, you can. It's safe to assume based on the ads for it and how it's being talked about that it's sort of a pretty standard man and woman meet and that sort of thing. But it's really not. I don't know if you want me to tell you not the specifics of it, but actually what it is about.
You can tell me. I don't see myself watching it anytime soon.
So it's really like an abuse movie. It's a movie about domestic abuse and a lot of domestic violence. And so people are asking her about this. That's not really a secret amongst, it's not a twist.
It's in the trailer.
It's in the, well, it is. Is the abuse stuff in the trailer? I haven't seen a lot of trailers for it. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
and it's also, it's in the romance section. The book is.
Yeah. And so, the other part of this, the other controversy about the press tour about this is that she's getting questions about this of did you talk to domestic violence survivors? Do you talk to victims, survivors about this? And she's like, I don't know. It's just a movie. I think we're just making a movie and it's kind of fictitious and it's just based on a book and blah, 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 blah. So she's really dropping the ball there in terms of saying the correct things when it comes to addressing the topic of the movie, So that's really about all of it. And also Baldoni, the writer-director of it, was, there was rumors that it was one of those, what was the director? It's one of those Kevin Costner sort of things where the star was secretly directing it behind the scenes, you know what I mean? And so a lot of Blake Lively and a lot of her influences in the movie were reportedly, his Justin Baldoni's ideas and his authority was kind of diminished there on set. There's rumors of that, and also so that's a lot of what's happening here in public in the press tour of the movie itself. So, yep.
Sounds like a real "Don't worry, darling" situation.
That's a very good comp. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't actually realize it was that close to that whole thing. And it is. But yes, exactly what it is. So, yeah, it's a little it's trivial is the word I was trying to think of. It's very trivial. It's very, celebrity focused. It's very Page Six sort of thing, but, it's notable because the movie's making so much money and the star is somebody that, a lot of people are saying, just not me, people are saying, Blake Lively is somebody that's a movie star, right? But is she, a great actress, quote unquote, great actress? What is your assessment of Blake Lively in terms of she's not, obviously not Meryl Streep level of actor, but what do you think about her just in general of her acting chops?
I like her more than Meryl Streep.
You like her more than Meryl Streep?
No.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of Meryl Streep, but Blake Lively's fine.
All right.
I don't know. Take her or leave her. She's good in that movie about the sharks or whatever.
Yes. She's fine. She's serviceable.
She's like, there's sharks. There's so many meters down. I can't handle it. You're
conflating two movies. She was in a movie called The Shallows, I believe. The movie that Blake Lively was in.
There weren't any meters down. It's too shallow. I can't handle it.
It was a good.
She's a perfectly fine actress.
She's a perfectly fine actress.
She's like, I'm gonna make out with Anna Kendrick. It's a simple favor.
Simple favor. Yeah. Apparently, they're making a sequel to that.
To that movie.
Making a sequel to that. Yeah.
A more complicated favor.
Sure. Yes, she's fine. Yeah, I agree that she's a serviceable actress, and I think that's the thing too. Of you're fine. You're a fine actress, and part of the blowback is you're a fine actress, but you're not important enough. You're not good enough at the whole thing of writing and directing and all of this stuff. No, it's true. I mean, if you're just, I agree with you.
You're not important enough.
I agree with you that she's just. You're and the movie too, right? Because it's just like you said, it's an important movie about domestic violence, but it's also, it's not going to be up for a lot of Oscars, so it's not like you're trying to take over this project that's going to be, still around in 6 months when we're talking about the best movies of the year. So really, to overstep your bounds in terms of being an actress and trying to push out the director and try to make your own mark on this movie. Was this the one? Is this the hill you really want to die on?
I mean, I don't know. That's all alleged. So I don't know. Maybe she's doing that. Maybe she's not. Yeah. But also, I don't know. I feel like you're framing this movie like it's, Sophie's Choice or something like that. Just
sure.
like 13-year-olds come into work all the time and buy this. This is,
Yeah.
it's a spicy romance. It's very, you know, no disrespect to anybody who's gone through this, but I don't think this book is like the shining
No.
example of, a domestic abuse story.
Yeah.
It's a romance book. It's a book about somebody who's been in a bad relationship finding a more healthy relationship.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's not it's like, to use your parlance. This is not
Yes.
some Meryl Streep project.
Sure. Yes, I agree. So moving on, we got Dominic Sessa. We got some Dominic Sessa news. Very much enjoyed him in the Holdovers last year. So apparently he's going to be in the Anthony Bourdain biopic. Yeah, that's supposedly in the works. Still very early. I'm not sure if they even found a director yet. But the script is written by Lou Howe and Todd Bartels. A24 is in talks to produce with Trevor White, Tim White, under their Star Thrower banner, along with Johnson and Matthew Miller. So yeah, just very early in the project here. But yeah, what do you think about Dominic Sessa playing Anthony Bourdain?
I mean, this is interesting. I'm a very big Bourdain fan. He was somebody who meant a lot to me. I loved all of his stuff. I think he was just a really thoughtful, interesting person. And I liked Dominic Sessa in The Holdovers. I don't know how old he is. He seems a little young to play Bourdain.
Yes.
I mean, I guess maybe it's going to focus on his early life or something like that, or they might do the biopic thing. I'm always wary of celebrity biopics.
Yes.
This is a chef biopic, which I don't think we've seen before. It's usually like a music biopic or something.
Yeah.
So, I'm cautiously optimistic about this one.
Yeah, I am too. What is the Bob Dylan biopic called? With Mr. Timmy Chalamet? Tim Chalamet.
I don't know. It's got to be the name of one of his songs, right?
It is, yes.
They always are.
Bob Dylan movie is called A Complete Unknown. I believe it's a Dylan song. I'm not sure. Yeah, which looks fine. What's his name on the watch? Like flipped out about it. It's like, this is nothing. This is just like a bleh. It's like a wet fart. And it's probably be fine. It'll probably be fine in the vein, in the way that Wonka was fine. Another Chalamet vehicle. But you're right. A lot of this stuff is just why do we need this? And it just with Back to Black coming out this year too, it leaves a really bad taste in your mouth. So yeah, going back to the Anthony Bourdain news about the movie, I am looking forward to it. Like you said, Bourdain was a huge influence in my life. Really hit me like a truck when he passed away. Really enjoyed all of the, that was like early on when Bourdain was doing. It wasn't called Parts Unknown. The one before that, Kitchen Confidential or Kitchen
No Reservations.
No Reservations. Thank you. Yeah, that was one of the preeminent shows of that type back then in the early 2000s when reality TV is really starting to ramp up, and him sort of it's a documentary. It's a documentary show about food and about culture and about cities, and one of the best versions of that. And so really, like you said, these Dominic Sessa is going to be playing him, so it's maybe going to focus on the early life. I read Bourdain's book, Kitchen Confidential, which was very much about his early days. So if they're going to do, some version of that with Sessa playing him, playing a young Bourdain, that could be interesting. There's if you haven't read it, there's so many interesting stories about the different kitchens Bourdain worked in, the place he trained in. I forget off the top of my head where he trained. I believe he went to what's the kitchen or the cook school called? I forget what it's called, but it's probably focusing on someone there, probably picking up on some of the Bear momentum. I'll talk about the Bear later. I finished that season 3, so it's probably grabbing some of that momentum and hopefully focusing on some of his early days, in a bear type setting. So that'd be interesting to see. So yeah, very very excited for this actually.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the Bear. I was gonna say I'm excited for something else where we can hear Yes Chef a bunch because the Bear and the Menu have both been great. So let's have some more Yes Chef. Let's go.
Yes, exactly. we talked about this off mic, but I'm a Java slinger now. I'm working for Starbucks, so using some of that nomenclature in the Starbucks there. So yeah, it's all bleeding through. Hands behind, corner behind. So that should be cool. So yeah, with that, let's get to summer movie wager. Like I said, getting down to the nitty and the gritty here. My Craven again cost me so much, and I've seen it. Even though I saw the new trailer, I'm still not happy that they delayed it months and months. I don't know if you saw the new trailer, the newest trailer that came out this week.
I've seen 0 trailers.
Yeah, like it's Craven, so I'm like, okay, just whatever. I'll watch it. I'm not worried about spoilers or whatever. So yeah, let me just put in your name here. Let's see.
I've already got it pulled up if you want to know the scores.
Pulled up. Okay, sure.
Always. So yeah, I mean, you're hanging tight there with a big, massive 35 points. And I've got 46 for now.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I might end with a little bit more. But where that leaves us currently on the global leaderboard, they are a grand total of 3,348 players. I'm not doing too hot. I'm in the bottom half with 1838th place.
Oh,
you,
wow.
however, are at 2,911th place. So pretty rough. It's rough.
It's rough. Again, second year in a row.
And that's probably like a couple hundred people who were just like put in things as a joke and stuff like that. You were trying.
I was actually trying, and yes, again, for the second year in a row, kudos to this man. I don't know this man, but kudos to this person for creating the site. But again, dude, you need to check your emails, please. You screwed me over 2 years in a row because I forgot.
No, you screwed you over. Don't blame this guy. Is blameless. You are putting
He's
the
not.
blame on this guy.
He's not
How
blameless.
is he blameless? Why? How?
I said he's not blameless. I said not blameless because I
emailed
emailed him like days and days before the deadline. I said, please, sir, please, I fucked up again. And I need you to help me out.
Wait, it's his fault that you fucked up. Okay.
I emailed him and said, please help me. But anyways, like you said, you were tied with the Devendra. You were 1838. I'm 2911. Let me see. Let me just check the scores here. So again, for posterity, 2 weeks before the end of the season.
It doesn't owe you anything.
The most points I got were for Deadpool and Wolverine at 7. 7 points there. Got Quiet Place Day 1 with 7 points there. I got Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, 5 points. If gave me 5 points, but yeah, all for null. For null.
You got
unfortunately,
3 movies you just completely missed on.
Twisters, Bad Boys, Ride Dies,
Bad Boys,
in the Garfield movie. So
yeah, which by the way, I'll just say, next time we check in, obviously you're still gonna have no points, 35 points. Actually, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I think I might be moving up. It really depends how Deadpool and Wolverine ends, right?
Yeah.
Because Deadpool and Wolverine, if that goes into first, that will give both of us 13 for having. Yes. So you'll get a couple points there. But I'll also get some more points for Inside Out 2 being closer.
That's huge.
And then the big thing too is Alien Romulus officially comes out today. Of course, there's no box office reporting yet for that. But I had that in my top 10. Unlike you, unlike anyone else in the of the actual film cast. So that if I get that in the top 10, I had it 9. If it ends at 9 or 10, Garfield's about to fall off because if it ends with us, and then probably also Alien. Yeah. So we'll see how I end up total. I mean, I've already figured out what I'm going to pick for you because it's already set. You can't beat me mathematically at this point.
Mathematically, yeah, true.
Yeah, because you, I was like, last time I was like, you know what, I'm going to pick something for Damian that I want him to watch. That's going to be a good thing for him to watch. And you were like, here, watch The Snowman, the worst movie ever. And I was like, all right, well, so I'm going to choose something for you that is both something that I like and I want you to watch, but also I'm sure you will hate because you hate movies that critics don't like.
I hate movies that critics don't like. Yes. Yeah. Real quick, Inside Out 2 joined like the $1 billion club, or right? Because it's like 24, 25 movies that have made $1 billion now. Yeah, 1.5 billion.
Yeah, it did.
Not just $1 billion, 1.5 billion. 1.5 billion. That's insane. Yep.
Yeah.
Worldwide,
that is a chunk of change.
Worldwide 1.5, domestically 638 million. Insane, absolutely insane. Which they just did D23 while we were on hiatus, and they're just
it's down the street from me.
Yeah, but yeah, let's speak to that real quick. And it's just so many all of the sequels. Like I think there was like two 2 non-sequels at D23, which doesn't bode well for the future of Disney properties. But yeah, ridiculous.
It's all just been sequels and remakes. There's like another original Pixar movie happening, but yeah. Also, Deadpool and Wolverine crossed a billion, worldwide.
Billion, yes. I just want to point out real quick, Moana 2 from D23, all the sequels that came out, and remakes, live action remake. Snow White was featured there. We got live action Lilo and Stitch. So all the sequels, Incredibles 3, Toy Story 5, which is what if kids played with toys? What if kids played with screens? Screens bad. Okay, that's a unique take in the year of our Lord 2024. Frozen 3, which isn't going to be coming out until November 2025, and then the sequel, just because everyone was waiting for a sequel, 2027. For Frozen 4 in 2027, Zootopia 2 in 2025. And I believe that was it. Yeah. And then another look at Agatha All Along, and Fantastic Four, some more Fantastic Four First Steps snippets from that. One thing I am actually excited for, I'm curious if you share my excitement, is Daredevil Born Again. This thing has been long gestating. I think they shot a lot of this and had it like ready to go, and they were like, no, we need to bring back. People are pissed that we are not going to.
They scrapped about half. They shot about half the season and scrapped it.
Because people were pissed that they weren't going to bring back Karen Page and Foggy Nelson, played by Deborah Ann Wool. And
also, apparently, it wasn't good what they shot. Yeah, that's part of it too.
That's part of it too. And I'm sounding like a broken record, but it probably had not enough to do with the other properties, which the whole point of the cinematic universes and stuff like that. So I know you're not as jived as I am, or you're not as motivated as I am about that interconnected stuff. But hopefully it does. It does connect with some of the stuff that I was reminded by this week. I saw somebody post on Twitter about like the end of the Marvels of Kamala Khan talking to Hawkeye. Forgot the character's name, but yeah, that stuff matters because it's a lot of that are young females and young people, and Kamala Khan being Pakistani would be very cool to see her in some sort of Young Avengers team up.
I mean, I said that I wasn't excited for Marvel crossovers and stuff, but I think it's that like the way when Fede Alvarez, I saw him at Comic-Con, and he was talking about his new Alien movie, which I know you've seen. Yeah. You're going to discuss here in a sec. He was talking about there's a lot of familiar things for Alien and Aliens, and he's like, it's to use the South Park term, he's like, it's the memberries, right? Yeah. He's like, the memberries can't be the meal, right? It's they're there to support what you're doing, and they're really cool, like, nostalgic hits for you, but they can't be the whole. They can't be the meat of it. They can't be, there has to be some other substance other than just these connections, which is what I've always kind of said, And I love it when. Like, if Kamala Khan shows up, like, when Daredevil showed up in She-Hulk, I was like, this is fucking great. This is rad. It makes sense. It works. It's not shoehorned in.
Sure.
It really works. I love that kind of stuff. I think it's incredible. And so if Kamala Khan or She-Hulk or anybody else shows up in Daredevil in a way that's organic and makes sense with the tone of the show they're trying to tell, and that's the thing. It is a very different tone than a lot of other Marvel stuff. So it's good that, like, the Punisher is going to be in it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then that works. That makes sense. But it's got to be more than the it's got to be there for a reason. It can't be there just to be like, look at this thing.
Yeah, and I guess just to combine the conversation we started with and this one, and talk about the Alien movie, or not to talk about it, but just like the member berries of it. And if you're tasked with making an Alien movie, you're going to have to put that stuff in there, because if you're going to call it Alien movie and not have like some references to what's come before, then why even make an Alien movie? I think best case scenario, right, of a Fede Alvarez sci-fi space movie is to not have it be a property, to not have it be a previously established IP. That would be great, right? But that's not the world we're living in. We're living in the world where, like we said before,
for another Alien movie, I'm like, let's see another Alien movie. I don't think that's necessarily best case scenario. I love Alien movies. Let's make some more of them.
Right, but I'm saying in 2024 in America, under capitalism, they're making an Alien movie, and I think under those conditions, like we said before, to make the money, to put the butts in seats, if you're putting out a movie called Alien, and it's gonna connect to the universes. I think, unfortunately, you're going to be automatically saddled with the expectation of having references to the old ones. You know what I mean? So, to that point, I think he did the best he could under those circumstances.
I mean, I don't think it's unfortunate. Like, I don't think that's unfortunate at all. I think that, like, okay, this is a franchise that we love as viewers. This is a franchise that Fede Alvarez loves as a creator, and making these references is not a bad thing. You know, you just talked about how much you loved him. You know, so I don't think I don't think unfortunate is the word I would use.
Sure, I would just. The question I would love to know is if Fede Alvarez went to a studio and said, "Hey, I have an idea for a sci-fi movie in space," and they're like, "Okay, but what if you did an alien? What if it was an alien movie?" I think we've talked about before, where a lot of movies, a lot of scripts get morphed into, like Die Hard. I think Die Hard 3, right, was something else that then it got injected with the Die Hard characters, right?
It was all the Die Hard sequel. That's famous for the Die Hard sequel, but I don't think that's like a thing that is pervasive where somebody's like, I want to make this movie, and they're like, well, you can only make it if you make it an alien. Like, I don't think that is as widespread as you're implying. I think it's usually. Well, hold on. I think it's usually like something where Disney is developing. They're like, okay, we have this property that we just got from Fox, the Alien movie. Let's make this movie. And who are we going to hire to do it? Well, Fede Alvarez has previously worked on a legacy kind of not sequel, but kind of soft reboot with Evil Dead. Let's talk to him. Let's see if he'd be interested in it. Or it's something sometimes like with the Planet of the Apes reboots, right? Those movies happen because the Rich Jaff and Amanda Silver had this idea for a movie, and they're like, you know what? They about like apes and stuff like that, and they're like, it'd be cool if we did a Planet of the Apes movie. Who has the rights to that? And they pitched Disney on, and Disney was like, cool. Or another example, I'll give Return to Oz, Walter Murch. Disney sets up a meeting with Walter Murch, and they're like, hey, this is in the 80s. They're like, what would you like to do? And if you just blank slate, could do anything. And he's like, I would love to do an Oz movie. And they're like, oh, we happen to have the rights to those books. Let's make an Oz movie. So I think that a lot of time it's like these creators have love for these, franchises. And Fede Alvarez talked about the deep respect and love that he has for the Aliens franchise. So whether it was him going to Disney or it was Disney coming to him, it was clear that this is something that he cares about a lot and wanted to tell a story in this universe rather than it just being some other script that was reverse engineered to be an alien movie. I don't think that was the case at all.
Yeah, you're probably right. And the other one, example of this year was True Detective Night Country. Issa Lopez pitched a story called Night Country to HBO, and they said, that's cool. It sounds like True Detective. So why don't we slap this True Detective moniker on there? And I unfortunately, estimate that a lot of the symbols from True Detective, the things that made True Detective, some of the characters, some of the references are in there, and they feel natural. They feel organic to this world. I'm not saying they didn't, but I think those things didn't make it a better show. You know what I mean?
Okay, I get what you're saying, but that's something where it was something else and it became something, whereas this organically was always supposed to be an alien movie.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll talk about it later. I'll talk about it, later, and I really did enjoy it. So, I believe so. That's it. Summer movie wager coming to a close pretty soon.
Yep.
All right. So with that, let's get to what we've been watching. We watched a shit ton of stuff. Really got back on the horse after Comic-Con. Had a bit of a rest period, but now I'm definitely back on the horse watching a bunch of stuff. First things first, we got Industry coming back. This is Andy Greenwald's and Chris Ryan on The Watch's favorite show. Got into it partly because of them, partly because it really is an amazing show. Really, really, really loved the first season. I was a little down on the second season. Not a lot of it had to do was out of their control. Talking about things that are out of creators' controls. It was very, very, very COVID inspired and influenced. This is one of, I think I talked about this when it was airing, when I was watching it. One of the first projects I think any of us had seen that directly reference COVID, saying mask, saying back in office stuff. So I was pretty down on the second season just compared to the first, but that's still really, really good show. It's a really good season of TV. The second season of Industry was, and the third season has premiered this week on HBO. It's their preeminent show. I think now that House of the Dragon ended, this is the big one that people are going to be watching every Sunday. And the first episode, really good. Really, really good to be back in that world. I think the second season ended with a pretty interesting cliffhanger, ended in a really interesting place for all of the characters and all of the people involved. And yeah, very, very cool, very good intro into the season 3. So definitely be checking that out week to week.
Okie dokie. I have not seen it. I know very little about it.
yeah. I was interested to mention that it's if you haven't watched it, if anybody hasn't watched this show, and you kind of want to know what you're getting into, it basically is very much a show like Billions or like Succession. Terrible people doing just doing debauchery, being debaucherous people, like Wolf of Wall Street. It is very much Wolf of Wall Street. It is people. It's like wealth management, which in and of itself, it should be a sin. It should be one of the big commandments of like just the idea, right? Just the concept of wealth management, of being like, God damn it, I have so much money, I can't even manage it. I'm gonna pay somebody more money than people probably see in a lifetime, just not even to have the money, just to manage it, just to be like, hey, what should I buy with my money? How should I move my money around? Where should I put my money so that the money can grow, so the money can multiply as quickly as humanly possible? It's just gross. Just the idea of it is fucking disgusting. But I love the show. It still doesn't make me not love the show. I still love watching the characters be despicable people and be shitty and just be garbage people, really, and just talk to each other and say shitty things. Like the first episode, it was very like it was an establishing episode, so it goes into the boardroom and people are talking about taking on a new client, but also the client is Kit Harington, Jon Snow from Game of Thrones, so he's in the season, and his company is involved in green energy. So that's the big discussion with the firm, with the I forgot the name of the company that we're following throughout each season. But they're basically having a discussion, roundtable discussion. Older men, younger people coming in and having the discussion of like, well, green energy, it's just a fad. It's just these woke millennials and Gen Zers just doing this green energy. Okay, just to feel good, blah 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 blah. So it's just these outwardly and what do you call it? Just nakedly mean and nakedly not racist, not misogynistic, but just nakedly fuck woke shit, fuck green, fuck this liberal idea of, well, we can live in a better society. Bah, that's all bullshit. And it's just, yeah, it's very much Succession coded. It's just rich, stupidly wealthy, just abhorrently grossly wealthy people talking about issues like that, just being gross. That's all I can say about it. So if you want that in your life, check that out.
Not really. So,
not really. Okay.
I mean, I'm not going to watch this show before I watch Succession. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. Succession first. Yeah. Let's go to you. You watched some people doing good stuff, some happiness in the world. You watched the what is it, the 33rd Olympiad? Is that what it is? Is that what we're up to?
Yep. We are up to the 33rd Olympic Games. Even though the counting of that is a little bit weird because they skipped the ones they didn't. They don't count the ones they skipped in World War I and II, but they do count the one. Didn't count the ones that they skipped to the Winter Olympics. Doesn't matter. No. But yeah, the Winter or the Summer Olympics I watched. That's why I haven't really been watching. I don't have a ton of stuff on my watch list, is because I just watched a lot of Olympics
nice.
All the time.
Yep.
For the it started right around when we were at Comic-Con and just ended a few days ago. So yeah, I've been a very big Olympic fan my whole life. It's just, I don't know, it's such a cool concept. If you get all the best people in the world at throwing a thing really far, or playing basketball, or breakdancing, whatever it might be, and you see who's going to be the best, and you compete for country and for glory and all this stuff, and you just get so wrapped up in these storylines, these events, and I'll it'll be something like I'll start the day being like kayak cross, that sounds awesome as shit, and then it turns out it is, and by the end of the day, I'm watching four dudes going down a rapid and crashing into each other, and I'm like, go, it's the butcher from New Zealand, yes, go, and it's just so cool. On my birthday, because my birthday always kind of falls right in the Olympics when it's the summer ones. So AMC was doing this thing where they, you could go watch the Olympics, the NBC coverage. So that would start around 10 and go till like 1 or whatever, in an actual theater. So on my birthday, I used my AMC pass, went to a theater, and was watching the Olympic coverage, and I saw. The U.S. was down a few gold medals to China. I saw them win a couple track and field medals, and a couple golds, and I also got to see. Here's another great story: Noah Lyles, who, is this track and field athlete, races the 100 and 200, won the 100-meter dash by like tenths of a second. Great moment. Comes back in the 200, and with COVID gets the bronze. He caught COVID in the intervening days, and he still got a bronze medal running with COVID. This guy is the guy who had asthma when he was a kid. So it's just great stories like that. And then getting to see the greatest basketball team ever assembled, Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, all these, and just stacked cast going up against Serbia, going up against, Novak, or not Novak, what's his name? The Serbian guy, not Novak Djokovic.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but going up against
Djokic?
Novak Djokovic.
Yes.
Yeah, but going up against them, and I'm in the theater watching this, and the U.S. gets down. The U.S. is down by like 13 points at the beginning of the third quarter. So it's like, this is supposed to be the greatest basketball team ever. They can't beat Serbia, they're going to lose. They're going to have to play for the bronze medal. And it's me and it's like me and a couple in the theater. And then the U.S. just has this incredible comeback in the fourth. And me and this guy are standing up, high-fiving, we're shouting, we're yelling at the screen. And it just is this incredible comeback. And I'm so glad I got to be in the theater and watch it. And that just kind of encapsulates why I love the Olympics so much. The U.S. did go on to win in overall medals. They also tied China in terms of gold medals, so that meant they won by any stretch you want to measure it, because they had more silver and bronzes as well. So yeah, it was really cool. I always love watching the Olympics, and next time it's happening in my neck of the woods. It's happening in LA in 2028.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna go see that shit in person. So I cannot wait.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, they were talking about this on Remap Radio, one of my favorite podcasts out there. First of all, just to talk about what you just said, they're hosting Olympics in LA, famously not great for transportation. Their infrastructure is not great. So just imagine, I think they were mentioning something about like having no cars around the arenas or around the...
yeah, they're going to try and do public transit.
Yes, I heard that. Yeah. So that should be interesting to see how that goes. And then the other thing I want to talk to you about, because I think we have a few years between us, but the other thing they were talking about was specifically with the men's basketball game that you talked about watching, is that the LeBron, this is probably LeBron's definitely his last Olympics, but getting to the last couple of seasons, Steph is younger than him obviously, but still getting up there. What'd you say? Kevin Durant is getting up there. So it's very much about the people that we've watched play basketball professionally for the last 20 years are about to hang it up. That era is almost over. Do you get nostalgia about that? Do you get emotional about that? How do you think about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it is kind of the end of this era of basketball, not just international basketball, but the superstars we had. Because this is Steph Curry's first ever Olympics, but LeBron's been there a few times. Kevin Durant, who was kind of the hero in the 2020 Olympics, which actually happened in 2021, he's just set the record for most points by a U.S. basketball player in the Olympics. So yeah, it was it's the end of an era, and there are some, obviously there's going to be some the future athletes on the team that are younger. You've got the up and comers that are there, like Anthony Edwards and stuff like that. So but it's like it was really cool to see like them all team up for the first time. You'd never seen Steph and LeBron on the same team before, and it was really special to see. There was like a moment when I can't remember if it was against Serbia or the gold medal game against France, which was also a great game, but when Steph Curry gets double teamed by two players and both LeBron James and Kevin Durant are open. And it's like Steph Curry is the only person in the entire world that it's acceptable for him to take that 3-point shot.
Right,
and he does, and he makes it.
Amazing. So yeah, very cool. Yeah. A lot of yeah, what do you call it, stories coming out of this year's Olympics. Some of them not great, but the breakdancing, one of the first years it was in there.
Listen.
What? Tell me.
It was the first ever year, and why did Australia said there's now investigations into how she even got into the Olympics. Australia sent a teacher in her 30s and who did not know how to break dance. Ray Gunn, who and she's like, you know what, I'm just here to have a good time. Like, you know what, that's all fun and good if this isn't the YMCA. This is the fucking Olympics.
Yeah.
She got swept out. She didn't make a single point.
Oh my god.
And I don't know. But hey, there's some good stories too. That Turkish shooter guy,
Yes, that was amazing.
That's amazing.
Yes. So yeah, very cool. I like all that stuff. All right, go back to me. A couple of things. Just because I have quite a bit more than you, I'll just blast through a couple of things. The Bear came back, dumped it very quickly. They do this on iFanboy. They're watching it week to week, so they're kind of just getting caught up there. But since I binged all of it, I'll just talk about it a little bit here. I'm not sure if you're caught up on this whole thing or not.
The Bear, yeah, I watched all of it. Okay,
so we can talk a little bit. Yeah, we'll do a little bit of overall talk of it, then get into spoilers if you want to. Sure. Season 3 dropped all at once. Got tepid reception from a lot of people. And yeah, I mean, it's not the same as the earlier seasons. I think it's very much, first season was just the Bear. It was the shop. It was the sandwich shop pretty much for the entire season, and it was very much about Carmy stepping in and getting mixed up with everybody that was already there, coming into this world that he was trained in fine dining, and trying to bring some of that fine dining cooking and mentality and just overall mechanics of fine dining doesn't mix well in that sort of family run, hole in the wall, casual style of cooking. So he tried to bring some of his own much more rigid style of cooking, and very much calling everybody chef and having respect for your craft more.
Chef.
Yes, chef, exactly. So it was came out of nowhere, really. It was sort of Lip, Carmy was Lip. He was what's his name? The actor. The actor's name, Jeremy Allen White was Lip on Shameless for a long time. So he was known for people that have watched that show. I never watched that show. Eben Moss Bacharach, I don't know what he was known for before this, but and Ayo Edebiri was known for some things, but they've obviously all exploded onto the mainstream from the show in the first season. So that was part of it too, of like, who are these people? My God, they're amazing. And so sort of that the first season ended with them opening the shop. And then the second season was, I'm sorry, was it them opening the shop at the end of the first season, or am I thinking of the second one?
You're thinking of the second one. The second one opens or ends with like the preview night.
That's right. The second season was them just trying to, they renovated the entire thing, they gutted it, and then the second season was just them trying to open it. The second season had a lot of really, really good episodes. Obviously, Fishes and Forks they had some amazing standalone episodes with Marcus going to Copenhagen. I learned to cook. Learning to bake there was a very, very good episode. They had some very amazing standalone episodes in that second season. Third season, I think the first episode I heard before I started it, I heard people say, well, it's just a clip show. It's just a montage. And I'm like, well, yeah, it sort of is and sort of isn't, right? A lot of it was clips from past seasons, but included some new stuff. So it was a mix of both. I was like, and I was ready for that. I've heard, because I came to this a couple weeks after it had aired, so I had been very steeped in a lot of people's critiques of it already, and overall I really, really liked it. I think the season is about being in one place. I think it's a season. I think the themes of the season is something I relate to a lot of feeling stuck, of being in the same place for a long time. And I think that doesn't work well for a lot of people when you've come to the show before and you come to past seasons, it's so chaotic and it's so kinetic and there's so much energy going on. There's something new happening. Like I said, the first season was just very, very much new. And the second season was, again, metastasizing and changing. And the restaurant was changing and them trying to convert this old style, the family style, hole in the wall to fine dining. And that was exciting. That was new. And now they've opened, and now we're seeing that them just trying to sustain that, trying to pay for it, and trying to maintain the maintenance of it. The maintenance of anything is boring, right? Maintenance of relationships, maintenance of infrastructure, that's the boring stuff. What's the stuff you have to do to keep stuff running? So I think that's a lot of people's critiques of it. But that's also what I enjoy very much too, is them exploring those themes of, trying to maintain it, trying to keep relationships going, trying to keep the shop going, and also. It's about Adaberi's character, Sydney, trying to decide what she wants to do. Does she want to stay with this place or does she want to go somewhere else? Slight spoilers for this season, but overall, like I said, quite enjoyed it. What'd you think, Derick?
Yeah, I talked about this when I watched it, so I'll try not to repeat myself too much, but I really, really enjoyed this season as well. I thought that it dealt with a lot of issues of kind of how we are shaped by both our past traumas and our past, I guess, successes, or, the people who shape us, who can be either our mentors in a good way or in a bad way, and how we carry both of those things with us, and how they make us who we are and help us and hurt us. And I thought it was great. I love the one-off episode with Tina. That was one of my favorite episodes of the show. I love it when shows do weird stuff like that, and I really liked what it was building to, and I'm curious to see where it goes next. Also, yeah. Pete's the best.
Pete is the best. Pete is, my proxy. I think it's like the audience proxy into the show, because he is like by far and away the most normal character on the show. So yes, I very much enjoy Pete. I will just say, because I just feel like a lot of my criticism of this season is just the stuff with Fack and that other guy that they introduced. It's just like, okay, you guys are being weird, and if every time they would cut back to them, it felt like a different show, because the tone was.
I thought it was funny.
It was funny like the first 7 times, and then like, okay, I get that you're weird. I get you two are weird together, and also them bringing in John Cena for like 20 minutes.
That was great.
Who was even supposed to be
John Cena?
He just stood out so much because he's so big and broad and muscular, and his hair's weird. I don't know. It's just
I love the guest stars on the Bear. Like John Cena was great. Josh Hartnett. Was great. Like, it's because it's like you want to hate this guy. Yeah. But, because he's like the new husband. You can't. He's so sweet. He's a sweetheart. His nails are painted, by the little girl. And you're just like, I love Josh Hartnett, even when he's being a crazy murderer, as we'll get to later.
Sure, yes. So, yeah, overall, really enjoyed season 3 of The Bear. Hopefully it comes back next year, but it'll probably be a couple years, 2 years wait, as per usual with this stuff nowadays. Mm-hmm. And then one more thing before I get back to you. Like I said before, it ends with us. I saw this with my mom. She wanted to see it because she loves that kind of stuff. Overall, I won't get into too much spoilers or too much too deep into it, but yeah, it just really does. She enjoyed it very much because it really does feel like a upscaled, to talk about upscale stuff, higher tier, upper tier, like a Lifetime movie of the week sort of movie. Yeah, so it was very much that. The twist of him being abusive, it's treated like a twist, and it is a twist. So sorry for if you haven't seen the movie, but it very much starts off with Justin Bologna's character. He's a pediatric neurosurgeon, and he's just come back from a surgery that didn't go well, and Blake Lively's character is up on a roof because she just came back from her father's funeral, and so he comes storming out of this doorway, and he kicks a chair, and so that's like red flag number 1. I'm just looking at that and be like, oh, he's going to be abusive just right off the bat. I'm like, I clocked this in with like in the first 10 minutes, which I'm not I am bragging, because a lot of the times I don't know if we talked about this, but I'm terrible at predicting a twist in movies, so I'm like really proud that I clocked that in the first 10 minutes. So
you're so good at predicting this twist that was in all of the trailers.
I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of the trailers, but if I go back and watch them, yeah, okay, fine. If they're there, they're there. But I haven't watched a lot of trailers, so I'm gonna clock that. I'm gonna take that
Well,
as
I'll
a
just say it does. It feels like if they're putting it in the trailers, how much of a twist is it? But sorry, good
the,
job either way.
Thank you. Well, listen, the movie treats it like a twist, so fuck them for ruining their own movie. But yeah, Jenny Slate's in this. She's good. I like Jenny Slate a lot as an actress.
Yeah.
Hassan Minaj is in this as well. So there's some supporting actors in this that I enjoyed very much. But overall, it was fine. It's making a lot of money because a lot of people like it. So yeah, go see it if you want to see one of those. Yeah. So let's go back to you. You checked out Star Trek: Strange New Worlds. Does this finish up the season?
So yeah, it's season 2. I had been watching this for a while. I still had a couple episodes left last time we recorded, so I wanted to hold off on my thoughts until I'd seen all of it. But yeah, this show is astounding. This is it's like old Star Trek made new again, right? And what I mean by that is that a lot of new Star Trek is stuff that it's very modern, where it's like in the storytelling of it, it's longer arcs and stuff like that. And there's always been like arcs over the seasons in Star Trek where things will come back up, but there are it's less episodic and more serialized. Whereas this one, it's just like, all right, today Captain Pike went to this planet and met these people. It's very episodic, very standalone. While having those bigger arcing themes, they still like, here's this episode, we met these aliens, what did this mean? And what Star Trek does so well is it tackles social issues in an abstract way. There is an episode in season 2 that is one of the greatest episodes of TV I have ever seen, I think.
Oh, wow.
It's really, really incredible. There's also a great crossover episode with that is directed by Jonathan Frakes, who of course is Riker, where it's a crossover between the Lower Decks and Strange New Worlds, and that was really fun to see. There's a musical episode, so they've been doing a lot of fun, interesting stuff with this show. And it ends on kind of one of those classic Star Trek cliffhangers, where what's gonna happen next. I absolutely love all of the cast. It's basically Christopher Pike, Anson Mount being just kind of like, he's a different captain than a lot of captains I've seen, that people are familiar with in Star Trek. In fact, there's an interesting episode where basically the events of the original series play out if Pike was still the captain. And so it's interesting to compare him with, somebody like Captain Kirk, is much more gung ho. Pike is like the great negotiator. He's the Boy Scout. I love that character, and it's just him and a bunch of badass women, essentially. Like, it's just like all these women who would kick my ass and that are just awesome. And Hot Spock is there too. So, I love this show. I can't get enough of it. I cannot wait for the next season.
Nice, very cool. And yeah, they definitely announced Paramount Plus announced a third season last year, ordered a fourth season this year. Now, unfortunately, I think it was the past week or so, Paramount announced that the whole thing is going under, right? Paramount's TV division.
They're owned by Skydance now, so I don't know what that entails exactly. So I don't know, what would be what's going on with the merger / buyout there.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It's just it all sucks. Just going back to that whole thing of just like trying to make stuff in this goddamn godforsaken late stage capitalism world. Yeah, that sucks.
I don't think it sucks. I think that Skydance, like, as there is, Paramount's been struggling for a while. They've had a really close relationship with Skydance for a long time. They worked with them on all the Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah.
And because there was a lot of talk that basically Paramount was going to get bought and sold for parts. So I'm glad that they were able to work together with a company that they care about a lot, that works really well with them, that is going to hopefully keep them making the same kind of stuff. So, unfortunately, it looks like, that I am looking at a Variety article now that it's saying that Paramount TV is being cut down. But this is definitely not the worst case scenario, given what was happening the last couple months with Paramount.
Yes, indeed. All right, going back to me, just go through a couple things. There is a movie that came out this week or past couple weeks called Cuckoo. This is this year's Resurrection. Resurrection was a movie from 2022 starring Rebecca Hall and Tim Roth. It was one of those movies that came out of Sundance that year that I immediately put on my watch list, and then subsequently had to wait 8 months to see. Definitely lived up to the hype then, and so Cuckoo is this year's Resurrection, a very high concept horror movie starring a very interesting young actress. This one Cuckoo stars Hunter Schafer. Yes, who I'm not familiar with at all because I don't watch or haven't watched Euphoria yet, and I believe that's one of the big things she's been in. This also stars the great Dan Stevens doing an incredible like Austrian / German accent playing. Again, speaking of red flags, immediately you're like, it's fucking Dan Stevens and he's being weird. Dan Stevens being weird is always incredible. So this is they debuted this year at the Berlin International Film Festival in February. Had it released this year, so I've been looking forward for a while. And it's 90% good. It's 90% of this movie is incredible, and the last 10 minutes kind of devolves into a pretty standard creature feature, but the 90% of it is definitely worth watching. It is really, really interesting. I love the atmosphere. I love the tone. I love Hunter Schafer. I love it just has her. There's one incredible not really set piece, but it's this moment where she's riding a bike, and she's riding at night, and she's in this like secluded road, and there's this tree. The trees shadows are kind of creeping up on her, and you see in the distance, like in the middle distance, like this weird somebody running or some creature running, and I love shots like that where because she's wearing headphones too, so she can't hear anything around her, but you as the audience see danger in the back. I love shots like that where something's happening in the background, but the character that you're watching has no idea about it. It's sort of like what's that called? Diegetic music, where the audience can hear it, but the character can't. I love like diegetic visuals where the characters on screen, the audience sees it, but the characters don't. So I love stuff like that. I wish directors would do more stuff like that. But yeah, overall, really, really good. 90% of it, really good. Kind of falls apart at the end, but still very much worth watching.
Very nice. Yeah, Hunter Schafer. I know that I haven't seen Euphoria. She was really great in the most recent Hunger Games movie.
Nice.
Liked her in that. And then, did you see Kinds of Kindness?
Not yet.
Okay, she's in that as well. So yeah, actress on the rise. People are getting very excited for her. And then, of course, this also, I know Dan Stevens, and then the love of my life, Jessica Henwick, is in this as well.
Yes. Yeah, they're both very good in this. And then one more before you go back to you, a movie called Dee, talking about very small independent movies coming out this year. I saw this in the Amherst Cinema, directed by Sean Wang. It's his directorial debut. Director Sean Wang's his debut. And it's just a quiet little movie about Asian American 13-year-olds growing up in Southern California in 2008. I wasn't 13 in 2008. I was 23, but I acted like I was 13. So I was very much related to this, where he's just chronically online. He's taking videos of skateboarders, taking a lot of videos, posting on YouTube, very much in MySpace, and a little bit of Facebook. Facebook came out in 2007. So me and all my friends were on MySpace and a little bit of Facebook and YouTube and watching weird videos and making weird videos of us doing tricking. I don't know if you're familiar at all with the world of tricking. It's basically just doing like flips and kicks and stuff like that. We were at a place called Gym Fest, which is where if you're like into gymnastics, you would go there and like to train, but you can also just it's open to the public, so you can also just go there and do weird shit too if you're just want to make weird videos and put them online. So I was very much related to this. Who are you, Derick, in 2008?
Who was I? I was an 18-year-old kid. I had just graduated from high school and I was starting college.
Yeah. So were you online at all? Were you on the YouTubes? Were you on the Facebooks and MySpaces and all that kind of stuff?
I definitely had a MySpace. I think that's right around when I got Facebook because I was in college. So everybody was getting a Facebook at that time, and yeah, I was commuting that to school, and I was online, not chronically necessarily,
Yeah.
but definitely online. I had just gotten my first job that summer, so yeah, starting to blossom into my own, as it were.
Yeah. Really, really good. Really good coming of age movie there from first time director Sean Wang. So recommend checking that out.
Yeah, I'll have to give it a watch.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about The Postman now? The they're doing, I think they're doing Kevin Costner little mini draft, not mini draft,
Yeah.
mini what do you call it? Mini marathon on Blank Check right now. I believe that's on. Yes, mini series. Thank you. Yes, they're doing mini series of Kevin Costner on Blank Check right now. So I believe they just talked about Waterworld, which did we both watch, or was that an assignment?
That was on the Patreon.
Gotcha.
They for their Waterworld episode. So I did not listen to that because I don't have their Patreon.
Don't do the Patreon there. So all right. What do you think of The Postman?
It was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life.
Jesus.
It was so fucking terrible. Borderline unwatchable,
Really?
Speaking of Waterworld, like I was expecting it to be more like Waterworld, like, oh, Waterworld's not a good movie, but it's like, fun. Like there's jet skis, Dennis Hopper is there doing his thing, and Postman is so fucking boring because it's like both post-apocalyptic movies. And I know Costner didn't technically direct Waterworld, but as we talked about, he kind of really did.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a movie that's 3 hours long about Kevin Costner delivering the mail. And it's exciting as it sounds.
Yeah.
It's so just like overly long, and just it's also a movie written and directed and starring Kevin Costner, where he plays a character that is so attractive to women that he shows up in a new town, and immediately that night, some lady's like, "Please fuck me and put your baby into me, please." Like it's awful, and it's like morals are the message is like is unclear and mixed. Like the final scene is the climactic showdown is just two guys in their 40s rolling around awkwardly in the dirt, and it's supposed to be this big climactic battle. And I mean, whatever, the movie has Tom Petty in it. That's good.
Okay.
That's about it. That's literally the only good thing about the movie I can say, is that Tom Petty is in it. Otherwise, it's I don't know, man. It's a really, really just terrible film that isn't even a fun bad watch. It's just a really boring movie.
Yeah. That's interesting because I think they did the episode on this already. So they do that, the dossier, and they talk about the writing of this and the pre-production of it. Screenplay by Eric Roth and Brian Hedlund. Pretty good.
Yeah,
names.
Eric Roth had an earlier screenplay that clearly got rewritten to hell by Costner. And
Yes, that's unfortunate. Yeah, budget of 80 million, box office made 30 million. Yeah, it is. Kevin Costner's career is so interesting, of just how you make two movies that are synonymous with, just not good. Like they're talking about Blake Check of Waterworld and less so with Postman, but definitely Waterworld. It was that shorthand for bomb, stinker, shit movie, lost so much money. I think he talked about seeing, Griffin talked about seeing that joke on The Simpsons and being like, this is a word, this is a shorthand, this is a phrase I can use and make adults laugh. So yeah, it's just Kevin Costner's career is so fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, there's some other good, like Olivia Williams is good in it, Will Patton's good, but God, this is it's just
long. It's too long.
It's long, and it's not interesting. Like, I don't think this movie would be like a good movie or even an okay movie if it was 2 hours long instead of 3 hours, because that's what, like, when they did test screenings, everyone's like, this is terrible, and Warner Brothers is like, can we cut this down? And Costner's like, no, it's got to be this long. This is my vision. And like, I don't think that would have like saved the movie. It would have still been bad, but it wouldn't have been one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Yes. Yeah. Boy, that sucks. All right. Back to me. So I saw a movie called Kneecap, and this is one of my favorite movies I've seen in a very long time. This is a 2024 comedy drama depicting the rise of Belfast-based hip-hop trio Kneecap, and it is starring the actual people, and they're really good in this. And the big thing about this movie as well is that large portions of it, I would say the majority of this movie, takes place in the Irish language, the Irish what do you call it? Irish native tongue, as it were, right? So that's interesting in and of itself.
What language would that be?
That's a good question. Irish.
That's not a language.
Belfastish.
That's not a language. Would it be like I know. Hold on.
Yeah. You can look up Irish. What is the
Gaelic? Gaelic is the word.
Gaelic or Gaelic?
Gaelic.
Gaelic, gotcha. Thank you for that. So yeah, it takes place all in Gaelic, and it's very cool. I love that. I love seeing that. I think we saw a little bit of that in what was the Colin Farrell, Banshees of Inisherin. A little bit of that, I assume, right?
I don't remember that at all in that movie. So
no, they didn't speak any of that. I thought they would have. But anyways.
I don't think so.
No?
Maybe anyways, I'm wrong, but I don't remember it.
Yeah, so this is sort of a celebration of that language because the movie basically is about two young kids growing up in Belfast and wanting to only speak that language, and it's also runs parallel with a teacher's girlfriend or wife. What do you call that? Lobbying for the government to recognize that language as the actual language of Ireland. So that's cool to see as well. And yeah, it is just so cool to see. We need so much more of this. Not just Gaelic or any language, any movie taking place in the actual language. I watch so many movies. I think we watched. What was it? Prey, right? They had that in that native tongue as well. I just would love to see more of this. And the movie itself just moves very, very quickly, and it's a really easy watch, very quick watch, and very interesting movie. It's based on a true story, so that's cool too. And yeah, I love the music itself, and really, really recommend this movie overall. Just really funny, really raunchy, but very, very good. It has also Michael Fassbender in this as well, so go for that. And yeah, just go for the language. Support the stuff like we were talking earlier about. I was saying its ambitions. The ambitions of the movie is not to make a lot of money. It's made for $800,000, so it's definitely distributed by a major company. But its ambition is to tell their story. It's to tell their story and put it out there, and that's good. Definitely, it's put out by Sony Pictures Classics, so it's a major distributor. But what I was trying to get across earlier was that its ambition is to just tell their story. Get the story out there to more people, and that's what it did, and that's what I'm hoping to do here as well with the podcast, is just to get people to see it. If it makes a lot of money, great. If it wins awards, great. But just to get more people to see movies like this is my goal here, right?
All right, fair. Yeah. I mean, is this out in limited release or?
Yeah, definitely super limited. It's like I said, I saw this in the Amherst College Cinema. So, if you have a cinema near you, definitely look for this there. Yeah, it definitely is in limited release. Let me see if I can. Kneecap movie release date.
See, I would say this one kind of falls more into the category of and like you said, they definitely the goal of any film or TV show is not for the creatives is not to make money or to just get award recognition.
Yeah,
they're always trying to tell a story, but I think that it comes with the territory that you have to really kind of be shooting for one of those two. And obviously, this is a movie that's made for under $1 million. Got into Sundance, so I think it's kind of one of those more indie. Let's get some indie recognition type movies. So I would put that in more the category of the awards seekers and the money makers. But if this movie makes $1 million, then it's already broken a profit, which is crazy.
Yeah. So near me, where I am, playing at Landmark Cinema in Albany. So yeah, just look it up. Look up Kneecap showtimes, and it's coming wider release on August 23rd in the UK. So if you're over there, if you're across the pond listening to this, check it out then.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, very good. Very, very good. It might be actually crack my top 10 of the year. If we're doing top 10s right now, it would crack my top 10. Yep. Right. Tell me, Derick, would M. Night Shyamalan's Trap crack your top 10 films of 2024?
Nice transition.
Thank you.
You know, no, this one would not crack my top 10. I like M. Night Shyamalan's recent kind of more indie, smaller budget stuff. It's obviously not as small budget as Kneecap, but for Shyamalan, it's smaller than a lot of his big Hollywood things.
Yeah.
This movie is fun. It's one of those movies where you're like, how are they going to keep this premise going for 2 hours? And because it's the premise, for anybody who doesn't know, is that there is a serial killer who is attending a concert with his daughter, and he finds out that the concert is a trap for him, and that all the cops and everything are there to try and catch him. And how does he navigate this while trying to get out without being caught, and without letting his daughter know that he's a crazy serial killer, because she's just like a regular 12-year-old girl, and he seems like just a normal dorky dad. But of course, he has that dark secret. It has a lot of like things of like, well, this is a one location movie in a concert. How do we keep it going? What do we do? And there's a lot of moments where it's like, this movie probably should have ended 20 minutes earlier, and then it keeps going, and then it keeps going, and it's kind of like, it feels like it has to keep regenerating steam every time, and it loses a little bit every time. But with that being said, I think that Josh Hartnett completely makes this movie. Josh Hartnett is so good in this. I'm a really big fan of Josh Hartnett. This might be my favorite performance ever of his. He's doing just a great job as this kind of guy with these two lives, where he's being a dorky dad, but then he's also just got this insane intensity serial killer thing about him. It does take some Shyamalanian twists and turns, and some of them work better than others. Yeah. But I really enjoyed this, and also there's some pretty great stunt casting in this, because the main FBI or whatever department she's with, psychological profiler that has set this trap is of course played by Hayley Mills, which is some really great stunt casting.
Yeah. Do you want to explain why? Or should I?
Yes, Hayley Mills, of course, played both of the characters in The Parent Trap, so she is no stranger to setting up traps.
Oh, that's hilarious. Jesus.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it is. All right, yeah, this is one of those that I'm probably going to wait for VOD, unfortunately. Again, we're talking about theatrical experiences, supporting theaters themselves, supporting movies while they're in theaters, because, you don't see movies while they're in theaters. They're going to stop going to theaters. That's just how things work. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, definitely. I've heard people, saying that this is a great theatrical experience, and it probably was. But I've only got so many in me, man. I only got so many times I can go to the theater. I went to the theater, or I've seen 3 movies in the past 4 days in theater. So I'm a little theatered out right now.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, yeah, this is one I think, you can probably wait for the home release of this one.
Sure. Speaking of movies I saw in theaters, I saw a movie yesterday in the theater in time for today's show. I saw Alien Romulus, the movie we were talking about earlier, directed by, of course, the man himself, Fede Alvarez. I've enjoyed many of his movies. I don't know if I've seen all of them. Let me see what he's done. Did Evil Dead? Oh, I don't know. I didn't realize Evil Dead was his first one. Huh, interesting. Yeah. Evil Dead 2013. I caught up with that just recently, and I enjoyed it very much. Don't Breathe was incredible. I saw this in theaters, and the twist of that, oh my God, I was like, what the fuck? It goes so far and so deep and so gross, and things go in people's mouths, and I was like, Jesus Christ, who thinks of these things? Were you a fan of
Alvarez, apparently?
Yeah, were you a fan of Don't Breathe back in 2016?
I did not see it. So
have you seen? Oh, you haven't seen it at all?
I have not. No.
Oh my God,
not at all.
Wow. Yes, that is. Yeah, I'll just leave it there. People that have seen it know what I'm talking about when things go in people's mouths.
I know the twist because.
Oh, okay.
They showed you the twist in the trailer for the second one. So.
All right. What is it with you and watching trailers with twists? Being shown.
I try not to. Yeah. I try not to, but that's what trailers do.
Interesting. Apparently he did The Girl in the Spider's Web, which I had no idea. I mean, I knew it was a thing, but I didn't know he directed it, and that was not well received as far as I know. That's oof. All right. Did 2018's Girl in the Spider's Web. Did 2021's Don't Breathe 2, which I have yet to see. And he was apparently a producer on 2022's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I watched and was probably on my list of worst movies of the year, so that's unfortunate. He was producer on that. He had a producer credit on that, which brings us to 2024's Alien Romulus. I think this is probably very, very high on my most anticipated movies of the year. Like we said before, I'm a huge Alien fan. I've seen the original more times than I can count. Obviously, the sequel is one of the most highly rated and highly valued and highly loved action movies of all time. Alien 3, I believe I've seen once in totality. I know that was one movie you did fairly recently on Underrated,
yes,
correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So that brings us to Alien Resurrection, which I remember loving as a kid. That movie came out in the late 90s, right? And it was kind of blew my mind because I went back and it's not, yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
But it does have swimming aliens. It does have swimming aliens.
Has swimming aliens. It has Mr. Hellboy himself. I'm blanking on his name.
Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman's in that. It has that iconic shot of her sinking the basketball in real time, which is kind of incredible. Yeah, it has very memorable moments. I'll say that. And then the next one in that series is obviously Prometheus, which I will defend with my life. I know there's
good. It's a good movie. I love that movie.
I know haters exist. That's fine. Haters can hate, but goddamn, that's incredible. Incredible film, incredible visuals, great actors, great supporting cast, really great story actually. And Alien Covenant, I still love, I still support. What do you think of Alien Covenant? Or sorry,
it's a bad movie.
It's a bad movie? Okay, all right.
Yeah, I don't like it. I think that it tries to be both a sequel to Prometheus and a prequel to the regular Alien movies, and it doesn't, because it's trying to do both, it doesn't do either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Prometheus. I love Prometheus, and I love the Alien movies, and its tone is muddled and messy. And the best part is when they light James Franco on fire. That's pretty cool.
All right, so that brings us to Alien Romulus. Yeah, you haven't seen it, so I'll talk in overall here. I loved it. I think it takes really, really wild swings, like I texted you. I think it does a lot of fan service, like boldly in your face fan service and references, like you said. Like maybe you can take your headphones off when I talk about. I'll do a little bit of spoiler talk in a minute here, but
yeah, give me a warning.
Yeah, no, I will. The things that it references and the way that it references those things are in your face, and they are just like big swings. The movie takes big swings in many areas, in all of areas, especially with the fan service. And people that have seen this will know what I'm talking about. And it's bold. I really admire this movie a lot. I love it too, but I think I admire it more than I love it. And I think you will too. And I think a lot of people will too. I think fans of the Alien series, the Alien franchise, there's a lot to love. There's a lot to absorb. There's a mixture of, I'll say, without spoiling anything, it's bringing in Prometheus and it's bringing in those ideas and those shapes and those design shapes to a lot of the character work here, especially to the end. And yeah, I really loved it as a movie, and I really admire its efforts, and I admire its ambition. So that's my spoiler-free review of Alien Romulus.
Nice. Yeah, I do. I am very excited for this one. It's number 4 on my watch list. We're recording this, of course, the day it comes out, so I didn't really get a chance to watch it yet. I've already got plans with a friend to go see it pretty soon. But yeah.
So yeah, I'll just give you a brief spoiler review here if you want to back off. And I'll put you in the Discord. I'll do an alert in Discord when I'm done. The fan service I was talking about and the member berries are in your face, literally. It has a what is the actor's name here? Played the guy in the original. Let me look it up. Ian Holm. Yes, Ian Holm. Ian Holm's character Rook, apparently. I don't know if that was his name, but he's all in this movie. He has a large part in this movie. He plays a large role in this film, which is bold. I will say that. Like I said, bold swings, very ambitious, very gutsy to do that, and I was very impressed by that. I think the CGI, the AI stuff was not great. It's very much in the line with Star Wars and Grand Moff Tarkin. Not Grand Moff Tarkin. Yeah, Grand Moff Tarkin. That's that thing that they did in that movie, in Rogue One, I believe. Yeah. So it does stuff like that. It brings him fully into the movie, and he does so much info dumping. He does a lot of forget the name of it, exposition, and he's telling the audience and he's telling the characters what's going on. And in that way, I think the movie fails. It fails to make that fear in you. It fails to implant that fear of you, because the fear of the unknown is one of the biggest fears people have. Humans have a massive fear of the unknown. So when you strip that unknown away, you very much remove a lot of the fear of this movie. So in that way, this movie kind of fails as a horror movie, because you and the characters know what they're up against in that way. So I think that's one of the big criticisms of the movie. But the last 20 minutes of that thing, that like come to daddy merger of Prometheus and the alien together, was terrifying. And the thing about the whole ship falling into the rings was an incredible set piece, an incredible like visual of watching her be so close to just being mushed and being vaporized against that planet's rings was incredible. I'll never forget. There are some images in this movie I'll never forget, and that's one of them. That set piece was so bold. Again, talking about the boldness of this movie, it's there in the narrative of it, and in bringing the characters in, but also of the expanse of it, the scope of it, the scope of the ending there was incredible. And I love that, all of that for it. So yes, definitely recommend checking this out. Okie doke. Woo!
Alrighty.
All right. So yes, that was my spoiler-filled review of Alien Romulus. Definitely recommend checking this out. I think it's going to be, it's definitely going to be up there for movies from this year and movies from this decade that people are going to be talking about for all of those reasons. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yes. All right. So that's all the stuff we've been watching. Let's get to Letterboxd assignments. Unfortunately, didn't get to my assignment again this time. Punishment Park was my assignment, but unfortunately didn't get to check this out. Tell me, Derick, did you check out Windfall?
I wanted to stand in solidarity with you, and also I forgot that I was supposed to watch this. So that's all right. There's that.
That's all right. So let's go to our watch list and get a new assignment for next time. We got a couple things on here. Excited to see. So let's go to my watch list. I'll hit shuffle and I'll see what I get. Dark Windows. Another weird. I thought I exercised my watch list of all my creepy, weird horror shit that I'm probably never going to watch, but apparently still have one on here. Now. Yeah, Dark Windows, 2023 movie directed by Alex Herron, 80 minutes. Well, that's why I like adding a lot of these movies on here, just to pad my watch list of the year, or my totality of the year. Even though I watched a bunch of shorts this week, to also pad my movies watched this year. I'm up to like 270 because I watched a bunch of YouTube shorts this week that I actually Yeah. Well, listen, some of them are really good. Let me just go through some of them real quick. I also added Love, Death, and Robots, all of those shorts to my watch list, which I have watched. So that padded me out a little bit there. Portrait of God was very good. There's a couple of classics on here, quote unquote classics, but movies that people have talked about in terms of being the best YouTube horror shorts that are available to watch on YouTube. One of them is called Portrait of God, which is very good. The Chair was very good, and Curve, which you've probably seen this pop up on a bunch of lists of shorts you should watch. I don't know if you've seen any lists like that, but that was very good. Very inventive, very claustrophobic, very atmospheric. Definitely recommend watching that one. But yeah. Okay. But what was I mentioning that?
Because you got a short movie to watch on your watch list.
Short-ish movie called Dark Windows. So I will be checking that out for next time. Derick, go to your watch list and hit shuffle. Let me know what you get.
Right. Oh no! Oh no! A movie I've been avoiding for literally like a decade. The only Spider-Man movie I haven't seen.
Amazing Spider-Man Part 2?
Spider-Man 2. Yeah. Fuck, man. I really do not want to watch this.
Yeah?
I'm the Rhino! Ah!
Oh boy. All right. Yeah, spoiler alert for that one. I think, is that the one where she dies, right? She gets murdered. Yeah. All right.
All right. Well,
let me know what you think of that. Well, it's all chronological. It's all canon now. So.
Yeah,
right?
So I mean, Jamie Foxx fucking shows up in the good ones. So
the good ones, yeah. So you'll see where he comes from. All right, so check that out for next.
See his teeth get strained by electricity, or whatever the fuck happens.
His hair grows back because of electricity. Yep, that's how that works. All right, and also for next time, got a couple things here I'm looking forward to. Blink Twice is a movie that's coming out. Its original title was Pussy Island. The conservatives won. We used to live in a society where we could make movies. We could put movies out called Pussy Island. This is a directorial debut from actress I like very much. She was great in The Batman, playing Catwoman. Zoe Kravitz. This is her. Kravitz? Yep, directorial debut.
She's great.
She is awesome. This movie, Blink Twice, is starring Naomi Ackie, Channing Tatum, and Christian Slater. Our guy Simon Rex from Red Rocket is also in this. We got Kyle MacLachlan, Haley Joel Osment, Gina Davis. Stack cast, yeah. Pretty cool.
Kale.
Also out next week, we got The Crow. Doesn't look great at all. Speaking of a not great movie season, summer movie season, we got The Crow coming out next week. Yeah,
might have a point with that one.
Starring Bill Skarsgård and FKA Twigs. Yeah, Danny Houston is also in this. All right, we can check that out if we want. On the good side of things, we got second season of Pachinko. Pachinko was one of my favorite TV series from 2022, one of my favorite series on Apple TV Plus. So very much looking forward to the second season of that coming back next week. 2 weeks after that, August 30th, we got another sci-fi movie that's going to be like, all right, I'm going to watch this and come back and report some things. Starring Casey Affleck, Lawrence Fishburne, is this the first time coming back in a space sci-fi movie since Event Horizon? I think so, right?
Yeah, well, no, because the Matrix the sequels came out after Event Horizon, right?
The Matrix wasn't in space. I said space sci-fi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, first time in a sci-fi movie it took place in space. So we got a guy named Tomer Capone, which people probably better known as Frenchie from The Boys, is also going to be in this movie. So might just see that for him. And speaking of, I'm sorry, I just got to keep going with the so-so sci-fi movies from this year.
Oh, this movie looks fucking terrible.
Afraid, Afraid. Afraid, starring John Cho, Catherine Watterson, and Havana Rose Liu. We also got Keith Carradine in this movie for some reason. All right, and we also got Reagan in what was it? Taste of Freedom? What was that movie called? Taste of Freedom? Sound of Freedom.
Taste of Freedom. It's Sound of Freedom.
Sound of Freedom. Well, do we have to put respect on that movie's name?
Taste of Freedom.
We got Reagan with Dennis Quaid,
this movie.
Penelope Ann Miller, and Robert Davi. John Voight.
You know what yeah, because he's great. He's great. Not a psychopath. Yeah, it's a bunch of fucking Trump asshole supporters.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what the book is based on? That this movie is based on is called?
What's that?
It's called The Crusader: Ronald Reagan and the Fall of Communism.
Oh boy.
You gonna see this one? You gonna see this one?
No, I think I'll pass. I think I'm gonna take a pass on that one. TV coming out on the 30th. TV news. We got Rings of Power season 2. I believe you finished the first season, correct?
I did. I loved the first season. Well, I liked it a lot.
You liked it a lot, yes. We'll call it that. Liked it a lot. So that's coming back. The 30th on Amazon Prime over there. All right, time to plug all the stuff. Medium, Substack, all the stuff. We got Letterboxd. I am 103 away from 2,000 followers. I you know what I did, Derick, recently? As I turned on my notifications, because I used to have it so it would just pop up at 6 p.m. and 6 a.m., just do a summary. I've actually had it on to notify me when I get followers. So that's a good dopamine drip throughout the day. When I'm feeling down, I can just look at it and be like, oh, new follower. Ooh, new follower. Ooh, new follower. So I got that going on for me. So 103 away from 2,000 followers. Follow me on Letterboxd on Midnight Film Pod over there. Film Essayist on YouTube. Spotify for podcasts to make a podcast. Look at all my interviews with B.R. Yeager, Cinematheque, Anthony Lygos, iFanboy, Connor Kilpatrick, and Josh Flanagan. Check out all that stuff. What you got to plug, Derick?
So I am 888 followers, or no, 1,888 followers away from 2,000 followers. Yep. So got a little bit of ways to go. But yeah, no. Underrated is my podcast that I do besides this one. Comes out on opposite Mondays of this podcast, where I discuss films that are underrated, underappreciated, or ones that have gone under the radar and passed most people by. The most recent one was Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping, which was great. Forgotten Andy Samberg Lonely Island comedy. Next week is going to be Return to Oz, one I mentioned earlier. Very excited for that.
In your life.
No, you are doing the same thing. We actually bring it up on the episode that everyone does when someone says Return to Oz and they think of fucking Oz the Great and Powerful. Return to Oz is the nightmare fuel 80s movie.
Yes.
It's the only movie made by directed by Walter Murch. Film debut of Fairuza Balk that is just pure 80s nightmare fuel with headless woman and fucking giant rock monsters and a chicken that will defeat it and a fucking there's like a proto Jack Skellington and a moose head monstrosity thing. It's absolute insanity. The movie starts with them wanting to give Dorothy shock therapy. It's wild. Watch this movie. It's so good.
Nice. All right.
It's truly, I think, the weirdest movie that a major studio ever made.
All right. Can't wait to check out that episode from that. All right. So for Midnight Film Society, I've been Damian.
I've been Derick.
And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.